Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Today we are looking at yes/no answers to whatever question you have to ask. Now, we'll break the reading down with a yes or a no answer, and then we will look to the content of that reading as to why we're actually giving that answer. Now, plenty to get into here today, but before we get started, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can, and if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you're on the screen, we have 3 different cards to choose from today, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really strongly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through for you today. And just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. Now, we've got card 1, 2, and 3. Taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, and the energy of the cards. Which of these comes through for you the strongest today? Is it card 1, 2, or 3? Now, down below, there are 3 different time stats representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the one that you've chosen, I will see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading, and we are looking at yes/no answers to whatever questions you're asking today. And today I've got a no for this particular question. So let's start up here with the Lovers and the 10 of Wands. Looking into the past, I feel like you've been making extraordinary efforts to try and achieve something quite big. But I get a sense here with the 10 of Wands that you've come up against a lot of friction, a lot of resistance to make that happen. There's a sense that you've been pushing very hard to get something over the line or to reach a particular goal that it's not that it's impossible, but it just kind of feels like the weight of it's really been on your shoulders in a way that seems disproportionate, maybe a bit unfair. It's, 10 of Wands is paired with the Lovers. It could be to do with a relationship. For me, this feels like it could be in the workplace, or it could be a relationship of some sort. But for me, the Wands are all out here with the 10 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. You know, very work-related, energy and efforts related cards. But whatever it means to you, coming back to the point here, I do feel an enormous amount of passion coming through here from yourself. And, you know, like I feel like you've been generating a lot of activity, a lot of effort to really to make this happen in a way where there's almost like an unbridled determination, really. I think you've been throwing everything at this particular focus in a way where, in some ways, you've become quite bogged down in it. You know, like I kind of feel like it's sort of, you know, like you've been in the making it happen type of I guess mode. You know, like you're just really one step in front of the other, plugging away at things in a way where it almost feels like you're a workhorse. You know, like I kind of feel like it's become a bit of a burden. Here with the Lovers, I think you've been sort of forced to kind of make some choices as to what it is that you really wanted to do in this situation around this work and effort to alleviate the burden. You know, perhaps it's a bit about managing a certain relationship in this situation that has left you to feel that it's all one way, and that you're not actually getting some sort of interaction or contribution to alleviate the pressure. And I think at the same time, what comes through really strongly here is this enormous passion and fire in the belly. You know, like you really believed in what it is that you're actually trying to achieve here. And I don't feel like you've wanted to give up on that. So despite the circumstances, I feel that you've plowed through in a way where you have not given up. You've chosen not to give up. You've pushed towards success. You've had a burning desire to make things happen at all costs, despite the fact that things have been very uneven in terms of the weight of this situation. A lot of passion, controlling the direction. I think a big part of this is also about you. I get a very passionate person coming through here. Somebody who isn't afraid to throw themselves into a situation to make something happen if they really believe in it. And I feel like you've pushed on, you've pushed through, and you've made choices to make that happen in a way where in many ways, if you come over here to the Magus and completion, the Four of Wands, I feel more in the current position now, things have kind of found a balance. There's a lot less pressure. I kind of feel in some ways you've actually found an outcome that provides you harmony. Your efforts have produced some really amazing results in terms of productivity. I feel also, if this was to do with some sort of a relationship with somebody in the context of what we're talking about, I kind of feel like you've found harmony in that. I feel like you've found a way to work with that person, to work with the situation. I feel like your hard work has certainly paid off here. I think a lot of that here is to do with the Magus. You've let go. You've let go of this fixed idea or this obstinacy. You kind of gone more with the flow with things, and I think you found a way of working that is just a little bit more flexible. I think you've learned how to juggle a lot here as well. Like, you've got a lot of plates spinning for me. I kind of feel like there's a lot going on for you that now that you're at this point, that seems quite easy. I think you've learned an enormous amount through this process in a way where, despite the fact that it's been pretty much all on your shoulders to get to where you are right now, I think the reality is that you've grown through that in a way where you've figured out how to do that on your own. And so now you're at a place where you can kind of allow a little bit of time and space to reflect. And at the end of the day, I think things are a lot easier for you now. I think the wheels are turning. The hard efforts are paid off in a way that has given you an enormous amount of security. I felt security came through here because there is a sense of completion. Like, you've completed the task in many ways. Like, you've actually come to where you wanted to be. I think you might have even surprised yourself here. And I get that you're pleased. I feel like you're pleased with where you're at. I think it's like, wow, like I've done it. Like, I've achieved it. And the Magus implies a new beginning as well. It's a new beginning in terms of the way that you're working, because you've learnt so much from what you've actually achieved here up to this particular point. Things have found their feet. And I think also you've let go. I think the thing is, that's what comes through here. Like, now you can let go. You can kind of reflect on your process. You can look at where you're at. And I think, but at the same time, I do want to say here with the Four of Wands, things are now starting to go around in circles. It's like you've learned it all. You've figured it out. Maybe ready for a new beginning here with the Magus in a way that, now it's just kind of day to day, and you're going through the motions, and you're happy and chuffed with yourself, but at the same time, there's no challenge. And a person like you here with the Ten of Wands, I think the thing is, you actually like a challenge. You like things to be quite difficult. You like to get your teeth into something that really is quite meaty, and which pays dividends, and which helps you to grow. And again, the passion here comes through for me really strongly with all of these cards. I think that you are a person who likes the challenge. Who likes the challenge, definitely. Okay, so down here with adjustment and the Ace of Wands, definitely looking at this situation in a way where I think you're weighing up your experiences in reflection of everything we've just talked about. Do I have more to give to this situation? Adjustment is definitely looking at the totality of where things are in terms of how it is that you've actually come to this particular point on this particular subject. It's making a judgment, yeah? You're kind of weighing up the balance of evidence to say to yourself, look, I can assess that my energy and my efforts have actually brought me to this particular point. Do I have more to give to this situation? So definitely stopping to reflect in a way where I think you're pausing to think, do I stay or do I go? Is it time to move on? I think also the thing is like you're weighing up within yourself the need for creative experience, creative opportunity, most definitely. I think you recognize that you have an enormous amount to give of yourself to something new. The Ace of Wands is definitely about new beginnings, new opportunities, creative energy, creative fire. I think you're somebody who has fire in the belly. I think that's the big thing, that you've got enormous creative talent. And when I say that, I mean, what does that even mean? It's creative talent in the raw sense. I think you're a creative person, like you like to make things happen. It could also be creative in a bit more of an artistic sense, not necessarily for everybody, but definitely there is a creative need to want to make something happen that's quite big and powerful and which makes an impression on the world. I think that you're somebody who thinks in big terms. You're somebody who likes to engage in ways that constructively takes things forward and produces results that give you rewards, but also which maybe you can leave some sort of a legacy, like an imprint of who it is that you are, like leaving your mark on the world is what comes through for me really strongly there. Also here with the Lovers and Ten of Wands, I think the thing is, maybe looking up to this particular point, maybe the complication has been that there have been other people involved in what it is that you're doing. Maybe it's not just one single person. Maybe it's maybe it's a lot of different people. And the difficulty is working with other people for you. I think that's challenging, because I think you're somebody who actually likes to take control. You're somebody who likes to be in the seat of power. You're somebody who likes to be in control of those relationships. And perhaps you've actually had to work alongside other people, or work in conjunction with I think different ways of interacting, and when you come over here to the Magus and completion, the Magus is independent. Like, this is somebody who's actually standing on their own 2 feet, doing their own thing, singing their own tune, marching to the beat of their own drum. And I think where you've come to is this kind of realization, I kind of don't need other people around me. I don't need to necessarily work with other people or to be validated by those experiences. Maybe I work better on my own. I get more done that way. I think for some of you that could definitely be the case. And there's a definite assessment point here with judgment or adjustment of realizing that really everything has actually been born out of your efforts. And so for me, it's like, how does the sword fall here? With adjustment, which way are you going to go? I think for me, it's time to find a new opportunity. A need for creative engagement, something edgy, something new, something that you haven't done before. It might be based primarily on what it is that you've actually been doing up to this particular point, but I feel that it needs to be new at the same time. I feel like here with the Ace of Wands, this is about a new opportunity. Okay, there is a new opportunity in the balance for you. If it's not already here, there will be something for you, because you're somebody who puts something out there into the world. You're somebody who pushes out a beacon almost, in a way that, that gets some kind of an attraction from another source. So I kind of feel like what you're reflecting out into the world through these experiences will reflect back by means of an opportunity that will actually engage you for further development, further growth. So opportunities are there for the taking for me. There's more for you if you really want it. I think the reality is that this is kind of almost like, for me, it's like a self-realization moment for you of understanding or recognizing what you're actually made of. And there's more there for you if you really want it. You're capable of so much more than you've already been doing. I think you've proven that to yourself. So for me, it's a no to where it is that you are now, and a yes to moving forward to something new. Because I feel here, this part of the Magus and completion, it's kind of you're going around in circles in the moment, saying, is there more here for me? No, there's not. You've done it. You've completed it. You've ticked the box. You've got the badge. You don't need to immerse yourself back into this experience in a way that tries to find something new, because the reality is that it's done. You've grown through this experience, and what you actually need now is a new experience. The Ace of Wands, you need something new that actually stokes the fire, keeps you going, and pushes you forward into a new beginning. Really nice reading. Look, I hope this has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading and we're looking at yes/no answers to whatever question you're asking today. And the answer I have for this particular question is a no. Let's jump in and break that down by starting here with the Star and the Queen of Cups. I felt this was a good place to start with the past, really. I feel like you've been focused on something that's been very important to you at a very deep level. Some sort of a desire for a significant achievement of some sort. Something that gives you an enormous amount of inner or very personal satisfaction. This is very much about your fulfillment at a deep level. The Star, definitely a card of focusing, wishing or desiring for something to manifest in a way where you put your pure intent into making it happen. It's coming from a very deep place, but also at a very universal level. Like, I kind of feel like this is really focusing in on something big for you that's really important. Queen of Cups kind of reinforces that in many ways. It's definitely a card of heartfelt compassion. It's a very deeply reflective card. Both of these cards are very reflective. But I do feel here that this could be a number of different things. This definitely could be about a relationship for some people, or a personal situation that's just really important to you, whatever that really means. I'm going to keep it really broad in terms of the brushstrokes, but I get a lot of creative imagination coming through here in a way that is forcing through some very powerful energy, very much about your intent, the pureness of your intent to achieve something that's really really significant. Once again, it's about the love of something that is very important to you. It's a very centered understanding in a way where I feel like you've actually had time just to kind of reflect and come to a place where you really know what you want here. There's no questioning about the situation. It's not a rationalized process. It's just a deep inner knowing. And I feel as a consequence of that, you've been very patient in how you go about this. I don't feel a sense of urgency. I don't feel a sense of need or want that is disproportionate. I just feel you're in a really good place where it's like, yeah, look, I know what I want, and I know that I just need to take my time about this. But if I kind of keep that approach, you know, it'll happen in good time. So I feel, again, like you've used a lot of different measures or a lot of means to succeed in this particular focus. I kind of get a lot of nurturing coming through here. Like, I really feel like you've put a lot of love into this. You've really given of yourself in a way where I feel that again, it's kind of almost like an inner wisdom or an inner knowing of just needing to do things in a way that is very holistic in some ways, but it's heartfelt. It's giving of yourself. It's giving to receive, but without that conditional need for it to give you something back. I think it's almost, for some people, it's almost a bit like spell work. It's like, you know, you're casting a spell on this situation to, and I don't mean that in a kind of a negative way at all. That there is no connotation there that sort of implies that you're trying to get something for nothing or trying to get something that's not really yours. I think you've just laid down this, it's a layering of again, intent through focus, through meditative means. It's almost like an affirmation is what I really want to say. You know, you're constantly affirming the situation in a way where you're energetically transmuting to kind of give to it in order for it to grow. And so I feel like you're really giving an enormous amount here. I I also feel here, because the Star is a very healing card, and the Queen of Cups is a very healing card as well. You know, there's a lot of love coming from the Queen of Cups, but the Star is a very sensitive, vulnerable card. I just feel, I feel like you've got a lot of healer in you. You're an enormously sensitive person who really feels things through at an emotional level. Definitely somebody who knows what is needed to make healing. I think that very much comes from your personality. I get a genuine individual who comes from a heartfelt place, who knows how to be very natural within themselves. There's nothing kind of there's nothing too much mechanized. There's not a lot of mechanization going on here. You know, like somebody who's very in tune with who it is that you are as a person, very in tune with what's going on around you. Something very natural and talented about your ability to adapt to the energetic resonance of what's going on in a situation. And I felt that as a consequence of that, there was actually quite a lot of power within you to do really amazing things. Look, I feel, you know, again, I feel like you've really meditated on this in a way where you've come to a very still inner knowing that this is what it is that you want. Coming over here, however, to the adjustment and cruelty, the Nine of Swords. This is more in the here and now, and it's juxtaposed to what I've just described in some ways that kind of feels very negative. I feel here there's this constant imbalance to the situation. You're never really grasping the power of what you need to bring things into balance in a way that you had hoped for. I feel there's a lot of fear here, a lot of worry about and never getting beyond that. There's this perpetual nature of just feeling like there's never really the balance that you need for things to be healthy, for things to be moving forward in a way that you had hoped for. I kind of feel like you're being kept in the dark, actually. I feel like you've been kept in the dark. There is a powerlessness here for me that says I'm not able to manifest the goals that I really wished for. I feel addressing this problem is really difficult because you don't have all the facts in your lap. You know, like you don't have everything you need to be able to kind of work with things on an honest level with the situation. I think within yourself you do. Like that's actually what got you to this particular point. All of those things that I described just before here with the Star and the Queen of Cups, you know, there's just pure honesty coming through here. And then you get to adjustment and cruelty, the Nine of Swords. And I feel like there's a lot of dishonesty playing out right before you in a way that leaves you to lose control and lose power to the situation. I feel like something here has been done against you in a way where there's no accountability for that. I feel like it's very unfair. And I feel like it's actually cruelly motivated. I feel like somebody or something in this situation has kind of really got it in for you in a way that is making it really difficult for you to be able to get what you want. And I feel that that's unjustified, firstly, but the behavior of this situation feels very personal. It feels like you've been singled out in a way where something or somebody is going against you to get what it is that you really wanted here, that comes from a very pure, heartfelt place. And you've actually got a situation or a person who has enormous insecurity and an inability to really look within themselves and meet you at a level that really addresses the fairness and the honesty that you're actually bringing to this situation. And I feel as a consequence that kind of reflects back to you in a way that makes you feel so upset. I get a lot of pain here. You know, I kind of feel a lot of harm has been done in many ways. I feel that there is a lot of suffering and that this has become unsustainable for you. Definitely here with adjustment, like it's a card of bringing balance and addressing a situation in a way where you're kind of reflecting with facts to get to address the unfairness of a situation, to get justice. Yeah. cruelty, the Knight of Swords, like it's that inability to really grasp what's going on. It's like, you don't have everything you need to be able to be in the picture, to put everything into perspective. Yeah. I feel that this is a situation where it's time to take control, and it's time to take stock in a way where you bring balance to the situation. And maybe you don't need all of the facts. Maybe you just need what you are actually experiencing at this particular time, because I feel like whatever this is to you, it's going against the grain of what it is that you had intended in the first place. I feel that this sustained degree of suffering that you're experiencing, it says a no. Like, it's a red flag in a big huge way. You can even see that here with cruelty. I mean, like, it is red by nature. And for me, it's sort of saying, like, you're going up against a grain. You've come up against a force that is pushing back on you in a way that is quite nasty. And there's a maliciousness here for me. That's what I feel. That's what I want to say. I just feel you're a really sensitive person, and I think that you would actually be taking this very deeply. You can see that here with Star. Star is a very vulnerable card. Queen of Cups, again, very heartfelt, very sensitive. There's a lack of boundaries here for you in the first place, I feel. You're quite raw in your truth. And I feel like you've come up against a lot of untruth, a lot of, I feel like you've been misled in some ways. I feel that you are, yeah, I kind of feel like it's almost like opposites attract in some ways. Maybe you thought you could bring healing to this, but maybe this thing or this person or whatever it is kind of pushing back on you and saying that they don't want that, or that it doesn't want that. The situation is not allowing you to address the need for balance. So for me, it's really called on you to kind of take stock here with adjustment, to not necessarily work with all the facts that you don't know about, but to work with what you do know about. And what you do know is that this is really painful and unsustainable. And come down here to the Lovers and the Ten of Wands, oppression. It's like here with oppression, it's like it doesn't matter what you seem to give to this situation. It all falls on your shoulders like it's a burden. I kind of feel like you're being blocked. I think important decisions need to be made here with the Lovers. There's a card of discerning choices and making decisions, as well as relationships. So again, this could be about a relationship for some of you, but it could be about a situation where you also just need to make a choice. And here with the Ten of Wands, it's definitely about addressing the burden on your shoulders. Why are you being blocked on that? I think you need to ask that question. Why are you being blocked on this situation? Because to me, it just seems like it's a one-way street. It's a one-way situation that doesn't return what you're giving it. And the situation never gives back in a way where it's actually in your favor. Huge amount of effort here in the Ten of Wands. It's like the situation is one where you're constantly working and putting effort in, but there's no rewards in it, right? Also, there's no recognition in what is it you're doing here, or what it is that's happening. I don't feel like there's any acknowledgement of the experience that you're going through. Somebody or something. To me, it feels like somebody or something. It's all on theirs or its terms and conditions in a way where it's come to a point where I feel like you've been exploited. And I feel that could actually be quite conscious. I feel like you're a very sensitive, very talented person who has an enormous amount of power, an enormous amount of effort to focus and to bring things into manifestation. I kind of feel a vulnerability here with you, where it's almost like you're wanting it so much that you're ready to kind of listen to anybody and everything to try and make that happen. You're just automatically on board to kind of, to anybody who or anything that might agree with you. And And I feel like you've been taken for a ride here. I feel like you've been scooped up and taken for a ride in a way where, whatever this is, it has a different agenda to you. It's not pure of heart. It doesn't have your best interests at heart. It has its own agenda, and actually, it doesn't actually care about you in a way that meets you. I wanted to say that I feel your way forward is one where it needs to be sort of fair and sustainable, and that is based on how it is that you really feel. And your feeling of this situation is everything, because that actually sings to you the truth of what it is that you really know here. And I feel an enormous amount of pain because it's so opposed to what it is that you actually intended in the first place. I feel like you need to let go and release your grip and allow yourself to come back to center in a way where this will bring you the balance that you actually need. I think you need to save your energy. I think you need to stop giving so much all the time to this. It's time to stop giving to this situation. I feel you need to accept a need for boundaries within yourself about this situation. Don't dream your life away on whatever this is what I wanted to say. It's time to say no. It's time to say no. It's a hard no. It's a hard no for me. It's a hard no in this reading. And I can see you have to be very careful, because I think if you're not careful and you don't actually lay down a boundary and say no, you'll get caught up in this in a way where you just want it to happen. You want it to align. You will want it to align with your dreams and your wishes, and because they're so deeply embedded within you, and because you've put so much into this, I think that you'll have felt possibly by now that you're so invested that you don't want to give up. But for me, it's a no. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. Great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading, and we are looking at yes/no answers to whatever questions you're asking today. So today I get a yes for this particular question. I'm going to jump in here, looking more into the past with the Hermit and the Four of Pentacles, power. I feel like there's this long-standing independence. That's the first thing that really strikes me about both of these cards. I feel a definite consolidation and security within yourself, and I feel like you've been doing something alone for a very long time in a way that's made it into a bit of a journey, really. One that actually has quite a lot of different components to it. I feel that this has been a very long period of reflective and spiritual growth. I don't feel like you've needed anybody or anything else in your life in a way that requires input or support. I kind of feel like whatever this is, you've been standing on your own 2 feet quite solidly in a way where you're just cracking on with whatever it is. And I feel like it's kind of everything, really. It's very much your life path is just moving forward in a way that has accumulated a lot of time, a lot of security, and from that there is power. I kind of feel that this has emboldened you to be very I think very honest with yourself about who you are. You know, I don't feel that you've needed any validation or contribution from anybody else. And I think as a consequence of that, you don't need the distractions or the compromises that come along with that. So there's a lot of freedom here for me, and as much as I feel like you know what works for you and you know yourself from this process, I did feel that this could be related to a lot of different things, but it for me it really comes through in the way of saying security. Really, I feel like that could be money. It could be experience, it could be just the know-how of doing things independently and alone without the need for somebody or something else to be a part of that. I think maybe that's led you to feel at times a little selfish in a way where you just don't want to share your experience with other people because you're quite happy just being on your own. And I feel that this is, it's not even that it's bitter. I think it's actually quite a sweet deal in many ways. It's like you're able just to kind of do things the way you want them done. And there's a lot of order that comes with that. I kind of feel like everything is in place the way that you want it. And that's kind of led to a lot of consolidation for you in terms of efficiency. I kind of feel like you're waking up and kind of getting into your routine and just kind of getting on with it. There's no distractions. You're very happy with that in a way that says, I can just putter about in a safe zone and do me without having to pretend to be something else for anything or anybody else. I think maybe you're a bit of a loner. I feel that I do, but in a way where you really enjoy it. I kind of feel like you're left to your own devices and that you're very constructive with it. It's not like you fritter away time. It's not like not like you're sort of avoiding anything. I kind of feel that this is very much you doing yourself on your own terms and conditions. Money is a part of this, definitely. I feel like you have derived security from this. If it's not money, it's definitely security of some form. I kind of feel like you've got everything sorted. Like you are your own person, and I think you march to the beat of your own drum in a way that sort of says, this is life as I know it, and I don't want for more than this. Over here to the Eon and the Prince of Swords, I think this is more on the here and now, and I feel that there is a definite process that's kicked in fairly recently. It's a questioning process. I feel like you've started to have a lot of self-analysis as to where it is that you're at in a way that processes that through questioning. I think here with the Prince of Swords, there's definitely a sense of kind of looking inward and questioning what's going on and whether this is what you really want. There's a slight negativity in the Prince of Swords, and it really wants to kind of turn every stone and look at it in a way that gets answers. Perhaps there's been some complacency to some degree. Maybe you've taken it for granted you are where you are in a way that you'd never thought to question it before because it's been so comfortable. I think here with the Eon, like it's like a real crossroads moment of asking big questions. That there is an intensity that comes through with both of these cards. It's really kind of drilling down into almost like a very much a reflective process of trying to figure out whether you are really as secure as you thought you might be. And when I say questions, I mean, I think you're questioning everything. I think you're questioning your whole life in many ways, maybe even questioning yourself. And there's a lot of agitation here with the Prince of Swords. It's driven by the Eon in a way where it kind of really sort of pushes up big questions about your life and what you're all about. I think you're very irritable at this point in time is what I wanted to say. I kind of feel like your fuse is very short. I feel like you're prepared to react in a way that really questions what other people are thinking or saying or doing. I think you're responding the same way to your circumstances. I feel like maybe you're even fighting with yourself. I think maybe you're just not satisfied with the answers that you have as to where it is that you're at this particular point in time. There is anxiety here that maybe that you've gotten things wrong, because the swords are looking at the past and you're looking back at this really kind of golden period of continuity and thinking, yeah, like that was really great, but like have I wasted too much time on that? Do I want something new? Do I want to keep on doing what it was that I was doing before? I kind of feel like you're picking over everything, looking at all the decisions that you've made, looking at the circumstances of your life in a way that says, is this right? Is this really me? Is this really what I want? There's a lot of self-doubt here, actually. You've come from a really strong place into a place of kind of unraveling yourself in a way. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, because I think questioning yourself is a part of a process that is really trying to push something up into an awareness that sort of says that I can do things differently. So for me, the question for me here is am I doing more of the same, or am I doing something new? And that's where I think, that questioning, maybe I could do things differently. I wonder whether the pressure of other people, outside influences, friends and family, maybe your job, maybe circles of friends, maybe society at large. I'm questioning whether that has also been a part of what's triggered you to kind of think along these lines, like a rethink. And for me, I think you have to be careful, because I think you're actually being quite hard on yourself. I think your tendency at this point in time, you're a very intelligent person. You do think about a lot of detail, and you do think about things quite intensely. There is a tendency not to let things go, though. I think sometimes, it's good just to kind of let it all go and actually let the answers come to you. You don't have to have all of the answers, is what I'm trying to say here. And, there's a tendency to kind of push so hard that it can actually be really draining for you. So I kind of feel like your energy's been very low, and that perhaps you're sort of erring on the side of pessimism, as opposed to kind of keeping it more constructive. The one thing that does come through with these two cards for me is there's a lot of hesitation as to whether you should continue on in the same vein, or to try and do something different. I feel down here with the Sun and the Ace of Discs, I feel in the balance there's this like new opportunity that really is knocking on your door in a way that's saying, let's do something new, definitely. I kind of feel that this is just around the corner, if not maybe just coming into focus right now. I feel there is an auspicious sign to move forward in a way that said there is a new beginning that is filled with happiness and prosperity. The Ace of Wands is the Ace of Discs is an amazing card. It's a very auspicious card, and it's powered by the Sun, which is equally as auspicious. It's a really high vibrational, very fulfilling opportunity that could be financial in some way, to invest into your future. It could be something quite significant. I mean, whether that's buying a house, or whether that's putting money into some sort of an opportunity that gives you a return for the long haul. It could just be about investing into your life in a different way than you actually thought that you might not do before. I feel that the crux of this is that it will actually give you something that will actually make you really happy. I think that is fundamentally what this is about. So, and with that, it'll bring like a new era of enhancement in your life. I feel this is a doorway that actually opens into a very new way of living, a new life in many ways. I feel that this hesitation that you're actually experiencing right now, this negative, almost like spiraling sensation is about to stop, because something's going to come into focus for you in a way that says it's time to invest yourself into what you really want in life. And I feel here that it's like you can't do anything wrong by doing this. All roads seem to lead to this really positive outcome that gives you a return at 1,000-fold. I feel that's going to be really quantifiable for you economically. I do feel that this opportunity that is around the corner, it will actually give you something back that will actually grow significantly over a long period of time. And I think that it will actually change the course of your life in a way where it actually gives you an enormous amount of emotional pleasure, and like a deep feeling of fulfillment in terms of how this changes your life. I think there's also a social and a practical positive with this. I feel it like all of it is like 1,000-fold in terms of what it gives back to you. For me, this is a life-changing opportunity, and that once you actually make a decision to do this, you won't look back. and you won't be sorry. Think of this as an investment into the long term in terms of its growth, but in a sustainable way that actually supports you from all different angles. I feel if you come back here to the Hermit and Power, the Four of Pentacles, I feel that you actually have been sustained for a really long period of time. I think that you actually have had a similar experience to this, but I think that it's actually reached a limit and that you've actually come to this point here with the Eon and the Prince of Swords, which is very much crossroads material of really taking yourself outside of your comfort zone and having to ask sort of deeper, more probing questions as to whether this really works for you or whether, like you're just too comfortable. And I think the reality is that you actually have become really just so comfortable that it would be easy to kind of let all of this slide past and to go back to doing what it is that you were doing before. But there is a limit in what it actually provides you. Here with the Eon, and with the Hermit, I think the reality is that you are a very, deeply self-reflective person who asks the big questions when they are necessary. I don't necessarily mean that that's an easy process, but you have the makings to really go deep into your understanding of what is going to work for you and what is not going to work for you. And I think for a person like you, there's no getting away from the reality of where you've come to at this point in your life. The reality is that you want change. You want change in a way that gives you a further return. But I think where you're at right now here with the Prince of Swords and the Eon, I think that there is almost like a fear that you're losing control of what's going on, and you're getting very in your head about what that means. I think that's where you need to let go, because the reality is that you are evolving and you are growing, and you do need some sort of change to stimulate you and give you a new lease of life in many ways. And I feel like that's where this is actually really significant here with the Sun and Ace of Discs, because I kind of feel that this new opportunity will avail itself in a way that changes the course of your life in a very significant and very rewarding way. I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.